I've always been a fan of Apple products. Since I got my first MacBook, I fell in love with Apple products, and since then, I've only used a MacBook and an iPhone. Let's be honest, they look great, they feel great, and they're so compact that you can't simply ignore them. But then in 2015, I really wanted to try something new. I was locked in this ecosystem for so many years already, and I thought it's time to try something completely new, something that I'm not even familiar with. While I was hanging out with some of my friends, I realized that one of them had a new phone. The phone looked quite unfamiliar. In fact, I couldn't even recognize the brand, and when I asked him about it, he replied, "It's Xiaomi." To be honest, that was the first time I have ever heard about this brand. I had a difficult time pronouncing that name, and I still can't pronounce it properly. I mean, how do you call it? Xiaomi? Xiaomi? Anyways, after playing with the phone for a few minutes and then finding out its price, I was amazed because I didn't think that you could get such a great phone for such a price. The next day I ordered the exact same phone, which was Redmi Note 2, and to be honest, it was too good for $150. After playing with it for some time, the question that crossed my mind was, how on earth does this company make money when they're selling such a great phone at such a low price? After digging into the company, I was shocked because the company was launched in 2010 and they have achieved an incredible success in such a short period of time. By 2014, they were the leading smartphone manufacturer by number of sales in China, beating everyone else. I mean, with the release of iPhone, some of the great players in the industry almost went bankrupt because they simply couldn't stay competitive. Remember Nokia? They literally went from hero to zero. And then a Chinese company comes up and within 5 years surpasses even Apple in China and becomes one of the major players in the global market. So let's take a look at Xiaomi's business model and figure out how did they achieve such an incredible success in such a short period of time. We usually complain about how phone prices are going up, but we don't usually understand the hidden costs that phones require before they reach our hands. Companies spend billions just to let you know that they exist or keep you aware of their latest product. But at the end of the day, we the consumers have to pay for that. However, Xiaomi has found ways to avoid that. Instead of having a multi-billion-dollar marketing budget, the company does very little advertising and relies on social media. And to reduce the cost further, they don't spend a fortune opening up stores around the world and hiring thousands of people, and only sell their products online directly to customers. By cutting out the middlemen, the company could further lower their prices. And by implementing just-in-time manufacturing strategy, the company doesn't need to maintain a huge inventory. The logic was simple: build great phones for extremely affordable prices that would simply attract everyone. And guess what? It worked and made Xiaomi one of the major players in smartphone industry within few years. But that's just part of the story, because the other part is Xiaomi sells their smartphones nearly at their cost of production and often doesn't make any profit. It doesn't mean that Xiaomi is such a noble company that doesn't care about money, but rather they have a completely different business model. Instead of making a profit when they sell you the product, they would rather make a profit when you use the product by selling you services, ads, and so on. So smartphones are like a trap just to get you into the Xiaomi's ecosystem. Because besides just selling you services, Xiaomi sells like everything. In fact, if you're not familiar with the company's strategy, it seems like they are selling whatever comes into their mind, from electrical scooters to rice cookers. I wouldn't be surprised if one day they will start selling cars or jets. It might seem like a completely new business model, but it's not, because companies like Google have had the exact same business model since their inception. Google doesn't charge you when you use Gmail, Google Maps, Google Drive, but they constantly sell you ads and other services like storage on Google Drive. Of course, their sales figures have been in decline in recent years, But they're not the only ones, because the entire smartphone market is deteriorating. But their rapid growth has given them global awareness. To build such a brand isn't easy. Imagine the number of skills that you have to master. But every business starts with an idea. Most importantly, you should be able to present that idea in such a way that it will inspire others to take action. And one of the most qualified people to teach that is Simon Sinek. You probably have seen his TED Talk or came across his book Start With Why. And guess what? He has a brilliant course on Skillshare that you should watch if you ever want to turn that idea into a reality. You can get the course for free if you're one of the first 78 people to use the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.